Mile marker 4, practice 1 here. We're going to look at question 9. So in question 9 and 10, these questions are actually dependent on one another. We see that we're given the central angle measure for the arc AC, and we're also told the arc length. And one of the first things we're asked to find is the measure of AB, which again, I hope you recognize that AB is a radius. So we're being asked to find the radius. So if we think about what we know about the circle, we know the central angle of all circles is 360. We're given the angle of this arc. We're given the length of the arc. So we can't jump to find the radius, but what we can do is we can use that information to first find the circumference of the circle. If we can find the circumference, we can then find the radius by way of the diameter, or just from the circumference itself. So let's set up that proportion. I'm going to move to some blank space at the bottom of my page. For number 9, we want to compare the central angle, I'm going to say CA, of the arc and the angle of the circle. So we know we're comparing 36 degrees to 360. And you might recognize right away that this is the same as a ratio of 1 to 10. So sometimes it's helpful to simplify that ratio 1 to 10. We're also going to be comparing this to the length of the arc. And when we say length of the circle, we're really referring to the circumference. The circumference is the distance around the circle. So if our arc length is 3 pi, since it's already in pi notation, we know we want our answer in pi notation. Again, we're going to put x pi down here for our circumference. And when we do that, we can cross multiply without our pi's. Remember though, when we get our circumference, it won't be our value of x. X is the multiplier of pi. It will be the number we get from this times pi. So a moment ago, I mentioned that this ratio is equal to the ratio 1 to 10. So 36 to 360 is the same as 1 to 10. The reason that really simplifies that for us here is we don't have to cross multiply. You can still cross multiply, but you could also say, what's 3 times 10? Well, 3 times 10 is 30. So I know that x equals 30. Now if that's confusing, you could still cross multiply. 36x equals 360 times 3. You should still get x equals 30. So my circumference, again, is not 30. My circumference is 30 pi. So again, keep in mind we're trying to find our radius here. When we talk about circumference, we know that circumference is our pi times our diameter. So when I know my circumference is 30 pi, that tells me my diameter is 30, and we know our radius is half of that. Therefore, my radius must be 15. So we've now answered question 9, that the length of AB is 15 units.